Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Scurvy Reviews. Today we have We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. Now, that's a lot of R's. For those who don't know, this game is the second game in the Katamari series, the previous one being called Katamari Damacy. Now, I didn't play the original version of We Love Katamari, but I have played Katamari Damacy Reroll, and that was a very faithful remake of the first Katamari game. To give a short-form version of this review, We Love Katamari is a lot better than Katamari Damacy. The rest of this review is going to be about why that's the case. And there's also going to be some additional comparing and contrasting, as well as reviewing the new levels in Royal Reverie. So if you play the first level of Katamari Damacy and the first level of We Love Katamari, you'll notice that they play fairly similar. However, I think We Love Katamari, it has a lot of quality of life functions and improvements that make it a lot better. First thing I noticed between Katamari Damacy and We Love Katamari is the fact that the Katamari, the ball you roll around, is a lot more durable. I noticed that when I crashed into walls and such, sometimes a crash didn't even happen. And other times, if a crash did happen, stuff just didn't fly off in massive quantities. So it made rolling around a lot more enjoyable if I were to roll down a hill or something. I also noticed that there's also a lot less weird level geometry, and I like the solution that they came up with. If you did encounter some weird collision, you could basically just clip right through the object, so that way you're not going to lose massive quantities of stuff. Because in Katamari Damacy, if you were stuck somewhere, the game's code would basically just force the Katamari to just dump a lot of stuff, and some people found that to be very annoying, myself included. I also think the levels in We Love Katamari are a lot more focused and less esoteric. In the original Katamari Damacy, there were just some really, really weird levels. And I'm not saying weird as it's a good thing, because, this game is very weird in a good way. But the esoteric levels in that game sometimes could get really annoying. Now, in We Love Katamari, there's still that annoying cow/bear level, but it's really the only one in the whole game. And the missions that do have a bit more uniqueness to them, like the race car level, I found that to be a lot of fun. You just go so fast, and if you select the song Kuru Kuru Rock, it's going to be oh boy. It's a little anxiety-inducing at times, but it's a fun level nonetheless. Now, something that was missing from the original We Love Katamari was Eternal Mode. They added that back into the reroll version of the game, and I am very much happy about that. The last, make a planet level, or make it big level, I should say, you can get to be a massive, massive size, and now that you're not on a time limit, you get to basically just roll everything, and it's fucking great. To compare the two rerolls of Damacy and We Love Katamari, the simple controls in We Love Katamari just feel a lot better to play. When I was playing the Damacy reroll back in 2021, I definitely had some moments with the controls that were kind of fighting against me. But in We Love Katamari, the controls were actually cooperating with me. The transition from Damacy to We Love Katamari, I think they actually improved greatly in that regard. Since more cousins got added to We Love Katamari, that means their designs have changed, mainly in their faces, to look more like what the series creator Keita Takahashi has in his art books. And I like these changes. It makes them look a little bit more cartoony. Lastly, I do want to talk about the improved graphics between Damacy Reroll and We Love Katamari Reroll. I think We Love Katamari Reroll's graphics look slightly better because, it's a bit more of a modern game. Came out about a month ago at the time of recording this. Next up, I want to talk about the story, and to say the least, I really like it. So, it takes place both in the present and in the past. So, I'm going to talk about the present first and then the past. So after the popularity of Katamari Damacy, the king just got a shit ton of new fans, and they all want him to, do what he does best. Make some planets, make some stardust, and most importantly, roll a bunch of random shit on the ground. But is the king gonna do that? No, of course, he tasks his son, the dashing prince, and his cousins to do the dirty work for him. As for the story segments that take place in the past, it's all about the king of the cosmos, how he came to be, the man we all know and love, and, how he met the queen. And I find that story to be particularly good. There's no dialogue whatsoever, and what it conveys in just a few short cutscenes, it's cute. I also find some of it to be pretty funny, namely how the king's dad just is the typical Japanese father, wants his son to be an overachiever and everything. I like how the prince, well, the king, I should say, actually became a bad boy and got into some fights, and the way that he and the queen fall in love is also quite funny. I'm not going to spoil everything that happens in the story. I mean, you could just look up the cutscenes on YouTube if you don't want to play this game, but I highly recommend that you play the game, because after every cutscene, the king in the select lobby says something pretty funny. Like, oh, it's called a movie? We didn't know that. I don't know why I said I there. The king uses the royal we. I think that's something they missed out on with Royal Reverie coming out, is that they didn't add more cutscenes. I think it would have been a bit more interesting to see, the king's first day of being the king, and did he just instantly become a chiseled Chad as soon as that crown was put on, and when he left that door? That would have been pretty funny to see. But other than that, I quite like the story, both parts that take place in the past and the present, though if you couldn't tell, I certainly like the cutscenes involving the King of the Cosmos. As for Royal Reverie itself, it adds 5 new challenges that are slightly harder than the stuff you'll find in the base game, but they're all pretty creative nonetheless. If they were to make a new Katamari game, these levels could actually be, well, pretty good. I think out of all of them, the one level that gave me some trouble would be the ghost level. And then also, if you get some additional DLC, it also adds music from some of the other Katamari games, which is a nice bonus if you are getting a little tired of the same songs. I'm gonna rate this game an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend it, and honestly, if the game sells well, I hope we actually get a new Katamari, because I think the levels in Royal Reverie prove that they still have some new and interesting ideas, even though it's still using the same rolling up random shit to achieve a goal. There's still some frustrating moments in the game every now and then. It's a port of a 2006 video game after all, so design has relatively remained the same since 2006, but there's also a lot, and I mean a lot, of good stuff in here too. So at the end of the day, it's also pretty cheap on Steam, Nintendo Switch, all the other consoles. Go and pick it up. I think you will highly enjoy it.